Morning everyone. So welcome to my space remote sensing and GIS channel. So today we are also going to discuss our very interesting thing about the how we're going to train a classifier in ArcGIS Pro. As you seen last week, we did the image classification process over the segmentation. Okay, so from the segmentation, so image also how we're going to collect the signature files. Okay, for the classification. Okay, so how we're going to do that. Okay, so we will try to explain that part over here. Okay, so let's start that particular analysis and I will going to show you that. Okay, so now I'm just going to open a data first. So last week what we showed you, that is basically a wildfire area which I showed you. Okay, so now we are actually going to classifying this imagery to identifying the damage, and from this recent wildfire which you've seen in the last exercise which I showed now. So now we will actually use this original data to create a segmented raster. Okay, now that we have to create a properly segment raster, or we will actually use it to for the collections of the samples from the supervised object image classification techniques, which we are actually going to follow now. Okay, so with the help of this training sample manager, as you see here, where I'm going to collect the training sample. Okay, so and then how we're going to use this Esri, basically the classification of definition file, how we're going to create, and then finally how we're going to extract the raster target feature. Okay, so we will going to show you in this exercise. Okay, so now if you see, so we are going to open the same data sets which we just used in the last exercise. So this is the data sets which you seen here. Okay. And for this, we are required some training area which I'm going to collect the training area. Okay, from where I'm going to collect some samples. Okay, so for that area, I'm just going to add some for to understanding you better way. So I'm going to add. Okay, so this is the location as you seen it here. So now I will just make it hollow so that we can understand in a better way. So I will just change this color. Okay, so in a red, so that we will mark this area in a well manner. Okay, so if you just now right click on this and zoom to layer, so I will going to collect the training samples from these locations, so it will be easier for us to evaluating our results. So now next we will see that now we will going to have some adding some input data to our map. Okay, now which is actually ready to evaluating this particular training area and determining these classes that will going to represent for my analysis. Okay, so now in this content area you need to select the segmented raster which we created in Stoic. Okay, now to open the training sample manager, okay, so you need to come to this place. Like we have the imagery. Okay, so under this classification tool, okay, so you see this is my training sample manager. So I'm not just need to click open, and this is the training sample manager which will open by default. Okay, so this is the actually default image classification schema which is based on NLCD 2011 schema. Okay, and for this particular image classifications, what we required, that is the class which is basically the burn damage building. Okay, so that are not in this particular schema as you've seen here. So rather than modifying this schema, so I will going to open a new schema. Okay, so we will going to use some customized schema for this particular classifications. Okay, so then how we can going to do that process. Okay, so to creating this new schema, you just see there is one options for this particular symbol. Okay, so you can click on this. Okay, and you just see here there's a new schema will come up here. Now you just need to right click on this. Okay, right click on this new schema and you can open the property, edit the property. So you can give a certain name for this particular analysis or for this particular schema. Suppose I am just giving the name as recover. Suppose I'm giving a name like this. Okay, In descriptions, whatever you want, you can give. And as of now, I'm not giving any description. Simply save this. Now this recovery, this particular schema is actually ready. And now I want to add the informations to this. Okay. So now the training sample manager panel, if you see here, we have this particular recovery. So if I right click on this recovery schema, okay, so now there is an options, it's called add a new classes. Okay, so if you simply click on add a new classes. Now I'm going to create the two different type of classes. Okay, one is the buildings and another one is the building debris. Okay, so these are the two types of schema. I'm just trying to collect or the samples for my further classification process. Okay, so let's see. I'm just going to type suppose the building. Okay, as you see here, I'm just giving that as a buildings, and suppose the value for this building I'm just giving her as a 1. Okay, and you can choose any color if you want. Okay, so I'm just going to select suppose yellow type of color over here. Okay, now or you can select any other color whatever you want. Okay, so simply click on OK. Now the value 1 which is going to represent as a building, so simply click on OK. See here. Okay, now I will going to create one more class. Same process. I will going to create one more class. So for that, I will again add suppose the recovery. Okay, and then simply click on add a new classes. Now this time I'm giving a class name as a suppose building damage. Okay, so I give a name as a building damage, and I will give a value as a 2. So these are the buildings. I am just trying to mark it with the red color so that I identifying those buildings very nicely. Okay, which are the damaged buildings. So simply click on OK. Now you see I have ready. Two classes are ready for collecting the signatures. So now in this training sample manager, as you've seen, we have the two classes. So for now, I can going to collect the signatures for these different classes. Okay, so let's see how we're going to do that. So now the beautiful thing is here we are actually trying to collect the signature directly from the segments. Okay, so by using this particular we can say this tool, a special tool which we having here in ArcGIS Pro, that is called segment picker tool. So segment picker tool is actually useful tool, okay, to collecting the training samples, can be easily collected as a full continuous segments, which is actually help to maintain the uniformity, okay, of my training samples. So that is the beauty of this particular tool, which will be the main focus for this particular demo. Okay, so now let's see how we are going to use that particular tool to collect this particular data. Okay, okay, now here you see what a tool which I am talking about, that is segment picker tool. If you see here, this is we called as a segment picker tool. So this segment picker tools, okay, so it will help you. Okay, so to help you see here, these are segment picker tools, which is basically help you to training samples by picking the segments from the selected segments layers in the segmented picker dropdown. Okay, so just see here, these all are segmented. Okay, so if I want to collect, so I will simply collect this one. Okay, and see the building samples are nicely extracted, means nicely collected as a training samples. So this is the process of if you are taking samples directly from your segmented image, then obviously you have to use this segment picker options. So now if you see here, this outline of these training samples is become the age of this particular segments. Okay, and it is symbology is actually match the symbology that we can set in the schema. So having the properly segment raster, it is actually important for the accurate image classifications for this particular reason. So when the segment is actually combined these multiple features, there is actually a risk that the classification results may not be accurate as you desired. Okay. So now if you see sometime because of the slightly differences, okay, in the spectral characteristics, the single features, okay, that are also contiguous to get split into the different part, different segments. Okay, so in our work only you will see we could address this particular issue for using this particular tool, okay, to collect these training samples based on the user defined feature characteristics. So we to overcoming that, we can directly take this polygon tools, okay, for the further analysis which we can do it over this type of mixes. Suppose these are buildings. If you see these buildings, this is basically the buildings. Okay, so in these buildings also, if you see, if I show you this one, okay, so just a minute. So okay, these buildings, okay, raster layer I didn't taken, but if I taken this raster layer, so I will show you the building. So then you will see these are same rooftop, but due to the spectral differences, it is divided in it. So we can get a training samples from the both the options if you want. So suppose I'm just telling this from here also I can collect. Okay, so just okay, so this is basically the proper building, not a damaged building. So I can select this building over here, and you see I can collect the building samples from this. Just double click on this, so you see automatically the building color will come as a separate. So using this polygon tool, you must draw the polygons around more than half of the particular segments for it is actually considered is actually the classifier definitions. Okay, so if your training polygons is cover less than 50% of the segments, it will not consider by that particular classifier. Okay, so these buildings with the different spectral characteristics on the roof is now collected as single training samples. When you are satisfied with your training samples, you can ready for the next steps for save these particular training samples, and then you can go for the classification process. Okay, so you can save this process wherever you want. You can save it. See here, both options will be there from this save and then save as now. Okay, so you can save wherever you want to save this schema, and you can give some certain name, and you can save this. Suppose I'm giving name as a sample samples building buildings. Suppose I give a name, and output locations wherever you want to save, you can give this location name wherever you want to save this layer, and you can give a certain name, and you can click on this OK to save your layer. So see, this is the total process of how we can save our this data. Okay, or you can use the save button also from here. Okay, so same process. Okay, you can save your data sets for the next process which you go for the classifications. Okay, so during that time you can give this data as an input for the further analysis. Okay, so that's all for this particular lecture. In the next week lecture, then I will try to show you how using this particular training samples, okay, you can classify your image. Okay, so this part I will explain up to this, and next episode you definitely watch the next process, which is we tell about the classifications from these segmented samples which we collected and how we're going to classify it. So that's all from my side for this today's lecture. So I hope you enjoy this. Okay, so if you like my video, please subscribe my channels. Okay, so I seen most of the people you are watching a lot of videos, but you are not subscribing. So it's a request from my side. Please subscribe my channel. Okay, and I will come with much more interesting videos over the satellite data processing inside ArcGIS Pro, which will be the my interest area and passions, which I will definitely show you and help you to grow in your career. Thank you very much.